Hello everyone, and let's talk about Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. I'm not going to have much to say about this. So this was originally published in 1996, so do be aware there are a couple of things that I'm like, could be a sign of its times, but then someone else that reads it could say it's the setting that it is. So this is book number 1 out of 7 in the A Song of Ice and Fire series. This is an adult high fantasy. When I read this book, there was an audiobook available. I listened through Audible, and it was narrated by Roy Dotrice. And it is 33 hours and 46 minutes on standard one-time speed. So this one we have several different POVs. We have Bran, who we start out with him being 7 years old, and his mother Caitlin, his father Eddard, aka Ned, his older brother John, who is a bastard son, who is 14 years old in this, Arya, who is his sister. And then we also have characters Daenerys, who, named Dany, who actually, I'll say something in this one in a minute. Well, I'll say it now. She is put into a marriage, like alliance type situation at age 13. So she is married at 13. And then we have Tyrion, which I can't really remember exactly who he is. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 POVs. This edition was 674 pages. And I don't know if I got my edition through Thrift Books. I don't know. There is a map, so mine was pre-owned. This one, it was published by Bantam Books in New York. I don't know if the publisher has changed, but this edition was Bantam Books. This was adapted into a TV show. I actually watched the very first episode, and I will be watching more, but I will say head into caution. In this book, there is sexually explicit content. It's more on the fade to black type end. Although you do see, well, I wouldn't say fade to black, but it's definitely not erotic or like if you're reading a romance novel. Okay, there are some sexual scenes that, yeah. On the TV show, you're seeing it. You're seeing the breasts, you're seeing the butts. So just be aware. Anyway. So this opens up with Bran and his brothers and his father going. There was someone who abandoned this group that they were with, so there's like a traitor. When you traitor or abandon this group, you're beheaded. So he has to get beheaded, and Bran's father is the one to do the beheading. On their way home, they come across a dire wolf who has not been seen for years and years, who has been killed and has a bunch of pups. They take in the pups, so each child of Ned's has a direwolf pup. So once Bran gets home, his wife Caitlin comes up. They received some not great news. There's a loss of someone that they care about that he sees kind of like a brother. And then this king comes and wants to make him, I don't remember the term, but kind of like the king's right-hand man. So, I mean, that's pretty much what it is. You got some kingdoms. There are some tensions rising. There's conspiracies as far as if someone's trying to dethrone a king, what is the word? Raise a coup? And I don't think that's the right word I'm thinking of, but they want to go against the modern king, put someone else in their stead, and things like that. So you have a bunch of different kingdoms. One of the kingdoms is Dany is the queen of it, and her husband is the king. And again, she's 13, forced to basically become pregnant at age 13 because they consummate their marriage at that point. And You have someone in here who, it seems like he's just playing all sorts of fields, trying to be good with others, but then he turns around and tries to be good with the other side. So there's wars, rumors of wars, and conspiracy as far as people having affairs, and if people are legitimate, you know, heirs to the thrones, and if someone is killed, who really killed that person? Did they really die of old age? Did they really die of heart failure or something? Or were they murdered and poisoned? Type of a situation. So just things are starting to come to a head. I think I'll understand more the more I read into this. I am addicted enough that I do want to continue this series and see what's going to happen, especially with Bran. So, like, there is this one, I'm not going to say it. I was going to say this one scene, but that would be a spoiler, so I'm not going to. So, never mind on that. So, I mean, that's pretty much this whole 674 pages. It's the world setup. It's the character setup. Even though there's 7 POVs or 7 characters, there's a lot more characters. So I know that's a very simplified thing, but that's pretty much this whole thing. You're being described the events leading up to what's making certain thoughts be developed and feelings being changed. So there's a lot of talk of children being married into royalty, who's an illegitimate child, aka a bastard, things like that. So, and a lot of build up into who can be trusted, what their actual motives are, and are they more of a backstabber, are they two-faced, or are they genuine and true? Who knows? So that's pretty much what this 674 pages is. A lot of build-up, and I think I'll understand more of it when I get into the next book. So, but as far as your representation, you have dwarfism is mentioned. Someone is mentioned that has copper skin. You have someone mentioned that they are black, and you actually have someone who becomes paralyzed. They are able to walk around. At the beginning, there is something that happens that causes this person to become paralyzed and they can no longer walk. This is a type of world where there's no wheelchair usage. They just get carried around. So something to be aware of. As far as your content and your trigger warnings, you have animal death, you have blood, gore, and the animal death does get descriptive. You have a lot of death of loved ones. You have a lot of affairs, and a lot of animal deaths. So just be aware. Okay, so as far as the language goes, let me tell you what this is in case there's a word that pops up that you want nothing to do with. We have the word, and some of these words do come up more, but I tried to use them when it was more into, like, either as describing a body part or a sexual act. So, we have the word ride 3 times, tit once, hellbent once, bloody, aka an F-bomb, 23 times, damnably once, ass 8, hell 23, bitch 8, damnation once, teat once, which is another word for like a baby suckling on a woman's chest. Okay, damn 60, breast 58, nipple 10, wench 7, fuck 5, queer used in the word of something is odd or strange, 22, damn it 8, damnable 7, shit 9, piss 10, wet 3, rape or raper 16. Oh, that's another trigger warning I forgot to write down. You do have talk of rape scenes, okay? So 16, the word rape does come up 16, whether it's raper or rape. The word whore 30, balls twice, manhood manhood is 13 times, referring to a man's sexual organs. Slut 4, virgin 5, whorehouse 7, cunt once, whoring once, bastard 94 times, seed 7, savage 6, cock 6, gay once as far as something is happy or joyous. Like this one is used in reference to like a bard or a musician playing a gay tune on their harp type of a situation. Lips, not these, referred to once, thrust once, semen once, hellish once, and then the word God 229 times. Sometimes it is in religious context, but it is religious as far as this world, them believing in old gods versus new gods. And then sometimes it's just kind of like you would hear someone say, "OM goodness," type of a situation. So, but it's this world's religion. So not like modern day, the religions that we think about modern day, but it's religion as far as this world goes. So that is pretty much all I can say about this. Is there an about the author in this book? So this book has an appendix where we have, it talks about like the house of Tully. So it talks about the various houses. I do not see an about the author in this book. Did I miss it? Oh, looks like we're getting new POVs in the next book. Oh, there's another, in this edition, another map. Okay, let me pull up on Goodreads and see if there's an about the author on Goodreads. Okay, so this, Goodreads does have an about the author. It says George Raymond Richard Martin, so George R.R. Martin, was born September 20th, 1948 in Bayonne, New Jersey. His father was Raymond Collins Martin, a longshoreman, and his mother was Margaret Brady Martin. He has two sisters, Darlene Martin Lipinski and Janet Martin Patton. Martin attended Mary Jane Donahoe School and Marist High School. He began writing very young, selling monster stories to other neighborhood children for pennies. Dramatic readings included. That would have been fun to see. Okay. Later, he became a comic book fan and collector in high school and began to write fiction for comic fanzines, amateur fan magazines. Okay. Martin's first professional sale was made in 1970 at age 21. The Hero, sold by Galaxy, published in February 1971 issue. Other sales followed. In 1970, Martin received a B.S. in journalism from Northwestern University, Evanston, Illinois, graduating summa cum laude. He went on to complete an M.S. in journalism in 1971, also from Northwestern. As a conscientious objector, Martin did alternative service from 1972 to 1974 with VISTA, attached to Cook County Legal Assistance Foundation. He also directed chess tournaments for the Continental Chess Association from 1973 to 1976, and was a journalism instructor at Clark College, Dubois, Iowa, from 1976 to 1978. I could have said that city wrong. He wrote part-time throughout the 1970s while working as a VISTA volunteer, chess director, and teacher. In 1975, he married Gail Bernick. They divorced in 1979 with no children. Martin became a full-time writer in 1979. He was a writer-in-residence at Clark College from 1979 to 1978 to 1979. Moving to Hollywood, Martin signed on as a story editor for Twilight Zone at CBS television in 1986. In 1987, Martin became an executive story consultant for Beauty and the Beast at CBS. This is some interesting information. Okay, in 1988, he became a producer for Beauty and the Beast. Then, in 1989, moved up to co-supervising producer. He was executive producer for Doorways, a pilot which he wrote for Columbia Pictures Television, which was filmed during 1992 to 1993. Martin's present home is Santa Fe, New Mexico. He is a member of Science Fiction and Fantasy Writers of America. He was South Central Regional Director 1977 to 1979 and Vice President 1996 to 1998 and of Writers Guild of America. That's a lot of information and a lot of cool stuff, especially about Beauty and the Beast. I love that movie. So anyway, let me know. Have you read Game of Thrones? Have you read further on into the series? A Song of Ice and Fire. This is definitely one for me personally. I will understand more of the plot as things go. Even though more characters or new characters will get introduced, references to the past, I'm assuming, will be made. I have seen that with other high fantasies. It takes me a little bit to get into the second or even third book to fully grasp the whole plot and fully understand it. So for me, it's going to take a little bit to fully understand and be able to do better descriptions. But yeah, this is definitely worth a reread. Oh, I did actually underline a couple of things. So let me tell you a couple of things I underlined. Different roads sometimes lead to the same castle. And then, let them see that their words can cut you, and you'll never be free of the mockery. If they want to give you a name, take it. Make it your own. Then they can't hurt you with it anymore. And this is reference to someone constantly being called bastard and feeling that it's not such a good thing. And then the last quote I will tell you that I personally have underlined, I did underline more than this, but this is the last one I'll read, is grief can derange even the strongest and most disciplined of minds. Yes, it can. So I actually thoroughly enjoyed this. I look forward to continuing. I do want to watch all of the first season before I pick up book number 2, because I think that'll also help me kind of understand things a little bit more, although I do know that Hollywood has their liberty to change things and stuff. So I do look forward to continuing on with the TV series and with the novel series. And then I will read the second book at some point, and then watch the second season of Game of Thrones. So that is my plan. Again, let me know if you've read any of this series, if you read Game of Thrones, or are you further on in this series? Have you finished the series? Definitely let me know. Talk to me in the comment section below. And until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book. And I will talk to you later.